Hey soldiers, Facebook is dead. It just doesn't know it yet. It is the proverbial dead social media platform walking. And for this reason, I would never invest in it, even though the stock is trading at lows it hasn't seen in quite some time. Now, I'm not telling you what to invest in. I am going to share with you, though, why I will not be investing in Facebook. There is also another social media platform.
There is another.
There's one that is being resurrected from the grave as we speak. And there may be a way to invest in that in a way you may not be thinking of right now. So we'll get to all of that. Let's just start out with what's going on over at Facebook. The numbers are in for the company. They reported a second straight quarterly revenue decline, and they are also forecasting another decline in revenues for the fourth quarter. Okay, so that would make 3 consecutive quarters of negative revenue growth for Facebook. They've got that Reality Labs division that houses its VR headsets, lost over $9 billion in the first 3 quarters of 2022. You know, I got one of those headsets back when I bought a Galaxy phone a couple of years back. And it came with the phone. It was like free. But it was interesting, I got to admit, for the first hour or so. And then I shared it with my friends and family and said, hey, look at this. Isn't this great? It was a novelty that wore off very quickly for me. However, I actually think that this technology may be Facebook's saving grace. But Facebook never struck me as a company that was a long-term play, at least not in the terms of how I define long-term. It's not something that people absolutely need. And to boot, its claim to fame was this whole advertising technology that allowed you to specifically, more specifically target advertisers. And that has pretty much been interdicted. Apple has, put the calabash on that by saying, we're not going to allow you, Facebook. We're no longer going to allow you to use gain access to certain user information on these Apple phones of these Apple users. We're not going to allow you to do that. So without the ability to do that, then Facebook no longer has the capability to specifically target in the way they were doing. And remember, Apple is the largest mobile phone platform in the country. And it's also a huge player around the world. So this has affected Facebook globally. The stock plunged in extended trading. Okay, it's been losing money. It's been, bobbing up and down, but it's taken a hit. And along with it, Mark Zuckerberg has lost half his fortune from what he had back in September of 2021. Mark Zuckerberg, his net worth fell $11 billion last Thursday alone to $36 billion as the company's shares plummeted, of course, as a result of the whole earnings debacle. And a lot of questions, again, over this whole VR metaverse thing that he's doing. Look, let me address this right now. He's fixated with it because he believes that people are this is going to be a new way that people work and interact. And I believe he's right. I just don't believe he's right now. The technology is going to take a moment to mature. The applications are going to need to catch up with where his mind is. So I'm not saying the guy's not being visionary in the way that he's thinking. Okay, he certainly is, and this idea has merit. Think about it. We're in this new paradigm where a lot more people are working from home. Let's say you can put together a meeting. You want to talk about some environmentalism? Okay, you want to be friendly to the environment? Then Mark Zuckerberg's idea of this metaverse, bringing people together collaboratively, okay, in some sort of cyberspace setting to meet, to plan, to collaborate, okay, in real time. that has legs. But again, I just think he's a little too early. And I think Facebook, the main driver of, the way he makes his money, I think Facebook is too late. And that's tragic. But Mark Zuckerberg is still a phenomenally wealthy individual with a lot of friends, so he may be able to get this thing off the ground and financed. I think the through line that you'll see overall is Facebook has become a much less effective platform over the past 2 years. This is according to a woman by the name of Laura Carlson of the Democrat Governors Association. Now, she's saying that in the midst of political advertisers shifting their spending from Facebook to streaming platforms ahead of the midterms, which are tomorrow, as I record this, because I'm recording this on the 7th of November. So there's change in the wind. The red wave is coming tomorrow. All right, so that's what's going on over at Facebook. Now, also with Facebook, you got to understand that a lot of people, Facebook, this is their fault. They've gone from high-flying FANG stock, Facebook, Apple, some say Amazon, Netflix, Google, to a pariah in many sectors because of their draconian approach to free expression. Now, look, I get it. You don't have, the Constitution, the First Amendment, that covers the government. Okay, the government has to pay attention to that. Private corporation does not. Okay, I certainly cannot go into a private corporation like a theater and start acting like a fool, yelling whatever I want, saying whatever I want. I can't. If I do that, they have every right to say, hey, guy, you got to leave here. Okay, or I always give this analogy. Let's say you walk into a Hell's Angels bar and you say something in that private establishment that the patrons vehemently disagree with. Then, yes, you have had your say. You expressed yourself freely. Now you have to deal with the consequences of your free speech. So I'm not of the mind that companies don't have some sort of say in, what they allow you to say. Okay, I get that. But I think that the argument here is that Facebook has applied these standards inequitably to one side of the political, seesaw and not to others. And that has made a lot of people say, hey, you know what? Okay, man, you don't want me here, I'll leave. And the problem with that is the Facebook user is the entire reason why advertisers choose to give money to the platform. That and the targeting aspect. Facebook itself admits that people are spending less time on the platform. The other thing is, and I again believe that is a direct result of a lot of people just being alienated. They, try to say something, they get risk putting in Facebook jail. Person they're looking for to correspond with, they're in Facebook jail. Okay, so everybody's in jail. Can't talk to anybody. that could have a definite effect. And also, Facebook, in terms of the age, younger people just aren't using the platform. It's skewing older. Kid doesn't want to be on the same platform as their parents, right? Of course not. And there are other alternatives for these young kids that are more appealing to their generation. Now, the issue with that is as you skew older from an advertising standpoint, the older you get, the less likely you are to spend frivolously, okay? So that is something that advertisers know. If you're in your 50s, you're not really worried about the things that you were worried about when you were younger in terms of, your spending habits. So that's another factor. Now, as far as another platform that seems to be rising up out of the grave, Twitter. Elon Musk is over there making some changes. He's talking about charging $8 a month for the little blue check mark that was given out selectively to people. Basically, it was like something that was conferred upon the upper class. Okay, it was like being knighted over in England. You were knighted when you got that blue check mark. You were above the rabble. Well, now that's going to cost you $8, and why shouldn't it? Status symbols typically cost, right? If I go out here and I want to purchase a Patek Philippe or a Rolex or Ferrari, they're not just going to give it to me. I've got to pay for it. So why shouldn't you have to pay $8 for your little blue check mark over at Twitter? The other thing about this is Twitter, in combination with SpaceX and Tesla, has a tremendous amount of potential. There's talk from Elon Musk saying that he has ideas around using Twitter as some sort of interplanetary communication system. Okay, now he does own a space transportation company, so he could see some synergies in that. Now, Kathy Wood over at ARK Invest is coming out and saying that she sees a super app potentially developing out of Twitter, and that it could be some sort of all-in-one platform that serves a range of user needs spanning instant messaging, banking, and travel. So they want to go ahead and supercharge this thing. I think Elon is right on board considering all the money he paid for it, and it's a private company now. So he has to, make these loan payments, which are not cheap. He paid $44 billion for that company, so he's gotta make that. He's got to turn a profit there, and soon. He's thinking about a super app like WeChat. This is what Kathy Wood said at the Web Summit Technology in Lisbon, Portugal, last week. Wood was referring to the digital payment services of Chinese messaging app WeChat. It is used often in China for things like instant messaging, social media, and payments. WeChat has been touted as the archetype of a phenomenon known as super apps. These apps act as all-in-one platforms that serve a range of user needs, spanning instant messaging, banking, and travel. Now, the travel piece, look, he's got a car company too, right? So this stuff is coming together. I'm thinking that Elon, he's a visionary. He's seeing a lot of money coming out of this. Tesla CEO Musk has already hinted at plans to make Twitter a super app. Last month, he tweeted that buying Twitter was, quote, an accelerant to creating X, the everything app. So he's already there. And remember, Musk started in the payments industry. He is a member of that PayPal mafia. Twitter could, in the future, look more like a digital wallet, Wood said. So you do all your banking there. Maybe there's something they're doing with Cash App, the online payments app developed by Jack Dorsey, who also founded Twitter. You do all your shopping there. You get your loans there. It's your bank branch in your pocket. I think they can get this done. So there you have it. I believe that this can happen. Now the question becomes, since that company has been taken private, Twitter, it's not available on an exchange anymore for you to buy shares in. How do you invest in something like that? Well, to the extent that Twitter has some sort of more robust advertising component, that may be the way you go into that and try to ride that success with them. Twitter has 330 million active monthly users. I know that's a far cry from Facebook. They almost have 3 billion. Okay. So I get it. But still, 330 million is nothing to scoff at in terms of, your advertising dollars, especially if he can figure out a way to retarget these individuals that, Facebook lost the ability to target. Remember, at one point, Elon was talking about a Tesla phone. So that would take some time to grow, okay? But that might be his entree to sidestep Apple's restrictive policies at some point. All right, so I think, for my money, again, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think that Twitter has a bright future ahead of it with Elon, at the helm. He's already gone in there and started to make that system more equitable and egalitarian for all points of view. He's already challenging some of the, authoritative sources, like the White House will come out and say something that is demonstrably not true. Most of the media will just ignore it. But it seems like Twitter is saying, hey, everybody's going to be checked here, not just, a certain group. So that's good. That's refreshing. I believe that'll bring people to Twitter. Whoopi Goldberg quit Twitter. Who gives a damn? This is Whoopi Goldberg is so emblematic of why America is such a great country. Again, I got a lot of problems with the government, but if it's going to be done and you can do it here, oh my God, you have got so much potential ahead of you. Whoopi Goldberg is not even funny, yet she has rode for what, almost 40 years on the mantle of being a comedian. That shows you how great this country is. So Whoopi, go ahead, Whoopi, whatever your name is, go ahead and leave Twitter. Good riddance to you. Okay, so I do believe that more people will be coming into Twitter over time. All right, a lot of people are leaving the United States in droves. Watch this video. You're not going to believe what country Americans are flocking to in droves. Watch the video also to find out how you might not even have to leave the country in order to end up in a position where you are respected, where your money is treated best. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.